Hey there, Paul from UltimateFatBurner.com here. In today's video on creatine for teens, I'm going to cover 7 tips for using creatine safely. I'll be right back after the break. Stick around. Please don't go anywhere. Hey there, welcome back, and thanks so very much for sticking around. Now, before I get to the 7 tips, I want to address something really quickly. In a previous video, I told you that health and medical professionals do not recommend that teens or children use creatine. Now, this is not because there's any reason to believe it's dangerous, but because there is relatively little clinical data confirming its safety for this demographic. So why, therefore, would I publish a video that provides 7 tips for safe usage? Isn't that a little irresponsible? Well, that's a really good question. And let me make this clear. It's not because I disagree with health professionals or think I know better. Here's the thing. In most places in the world, creatine is not a controlled or regulated substance. In North America, for example, a teenager can walk into any Walmart, any GNC, probably even their grocery store, mine sells it, and buy a tub of creatine, and no one will bat an eyelid. No one will ask them for ID. No one will challenge them on their purchase. If it's purchased at Walmart or a grocery store, I'd be surprised if the person at the checkout even knows what it is. So my question to you is, how do you stop a teen from taking an easily available, completely legal, and relatively cheap supplement that all their friends are using? Well, the fact is, you probably can't. What you can do, however, is help teens make informed decisions and take steps to minimize any potential dangers. And that's what this video is about. So, recognizing that the advice of health professionals is for teens not to take creatine, but also recognizing that it's easily available almost everywhere, here are my 7 tips for using creatine safely. Tip number 1, before you take it, make sure there's a point to doing so. Creatine works, but only for anaerobic activities, powerlifting, bodybuilding, strength training, etc. It does not work for aerobic activities. In other words, it won't help in sports like running, basketball, track and field, etc. If you're expecting it to help with activities like this, you're only wasting your money. Tip number 2, stick to creatine monohydrate. Creatine monohydrate is the version that's been proven safe and effective in adults over and over again. It's also the version of creatine that was used in a small number of youth studies that I found as well. Most of the newer forms of creatine have very little supporting science to support their claims of safety and effectiveness. Tip number 3, use a creatine monohydrate product that contains the Creapure version of the supplement. Creapure is a high-quality German-sourced creatine. So why Creapure? Well, because inferior manufacturing processes may result in creatine products that contain certain impurities that could be harmful. Creatine is a very cheap supplement, so don't skimp out on it. Look for the Creapure brand of creatine. Tip number 4, use a lower dose. The typical maintenance dose for creatine is 5 grams per day for people under 200 pounds and 10 grams for those over 200 pounds. But some experts argue that you can get away with using much less, as little as 0.03 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. So let me show you what that looks like in a 150-pound individual. So to get kilograms from pounds, divide the weight in pounds by 2.2. So for example, 150 divided by 2.2 is 68.18. 68.18 times 0.03 grams per kilogram is 2.04. So 2 grams of creatine per day is your maintenance dose. Tip number 5, cycle off regularly. Every couple of months using creatine, cycle off for a month or 6 weeks. Tip number 6, get a regular checkup with blood work to confirm proper kidney function if and when you can. Tip number 7, if you, or if you're a parent watching this, your teen, has any underlying health issues specifically related to kidneys, absolutely do not use creatine monohydrate before consulting a medical professional. All right, there you have it. Creatine for teens, 7 tips for using it safely. If you like this video, a thumbs up or a share would be awesome. If you hated it, by all means, thumb it down. I want to know what you think, even if you absolutely hate something. If you have a comment or a question or an experience you want to share, please do leave it below. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I got to ask you, why haven't you? 1 click, all it takes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you really soon.